The wind here carries no scent of cities, no echo of engines or machinery, only the raw breath of the Anatolian plateau, sweeping over a lonely rise of stone and dust. The horizon stretches endlessly, broken only by low hills and the faded line where the earth kisses the sky. To the untrained eye, this place seems barren, insignificant. But beneath your feet, buried for 12,000 years, lies a story so profound that it challenges the very roots of what we thought we knew about ourselves. This is Göbekli Tepe, and it may be the first temple on Earth. Picture it, the year is around 10,000 BC. The Ice Age has only just released its grip on the world. Vast glaciers retreat, rivers swell, and the first green shoots begin to reclaim the frozen lands. Human beings, our ancestors, are scattered bands of hunter-gatherers. They live in small groups, moving with the seasons, chasing migrating herds, harvesting wild grains from the hillsides. The idea of a permanent settlement is still distant. The world is untamed, unpredictable, and dangerous. And yet, here in the hills of southeastern Anatolia, something extraordinary is happening. People are coming together not to hunt, not to farm, but to build. They quarry massive blocks of limestone, some weighing as much as an elephant, and haul them uphill. They carve them into T-shaped pillars, towering monoliths, using only flint tools. And they arrange them in vast stone circles, each pillar decorated with precise, elegant carvings of animals. Foxes with sharp snouts, coiled snakes, vultures with outstretched wings, fierce wild boars, and gazelles caught mid. These are not random decorations. They are symbols, messages, perhaps prayers. For decades, archaeologists believed that religion and monumental architecture came after agriculture, that people first learned to farm, then settled into villages, and only then began building temples and inventing gods. But Göbekli Tepe stands as an ancient, silent protest against that theory. If this is truly a temple land, all evidence suggests it was it, predates farming by thousands of years. That means belief, ceremony, ritual, may have been the spark that ignited civilization itself. When Klaus Schmidt first arrived here in 1994, the site had already been discovered in a sense. A team from the University of Chicago had surveyed it in the 1960s, noted the stone fragments, and moved on, assuming it was just a medieval cemetery. Local farmers had been pulling carved stones out of the ground for decades, their plows striking against limestone buried just beneath the surface. But Schmidt saw something no one else had. He noticed the size of the stones far too large for a simple grave marker and the way they clustered in circular patterns beneath the mound. He began digging, and almost immediately, the earth yielded secrets, perfectly preserved monoliths rising from the soil, their surfaces etched with imagery so vivid that it seemed the carvers had only just set down their tools. When the radiocarbon dating results came in, they were almost unbelievable. 9600 BC, that's 7,000 years before Stonehenge, 6,500 years before the first cities in Mesopotamia, 4,000 years before writing. And then came the realization that would shake the world of archaeology. There were no traces of permanent habitation here. No hearths, no rubbish pits, no houses. People did not live at Göbekli Tepe, they came here for something else entirely. The site consists of multiple circular enclosures, some more than 20 meters across. At the center of each are two massive T-shaped pillars, taller and more finely worked than the rest. These central pillars may represent human forms, abstracted, stylized, but unmistakably anthropomorphic. Some even have carved arms and hands, folded neatly in front, as though in a gesture of respect or offering. Around them, smaller pillars form a ring, each decorated with its own menagerie of animals. The carvings themselves seem to speak a symbolic language that we can only guess at. In one enclosure, a vulture stands beside a headless human figure, perhaps a reference to sky burials, where the dead were left exposed for scavenger birds, a practice known in many ancient cultures. In another, snakes wind across the stone like streams of water. On one pillar, a fox leak cunning seems to slink along the edge. Its form is alive today, as it was 12,000 years ago. Who were these people who built this place? Without writing, they left us no names, no chronicles of kings or priests, but they left us something else, something even older. Art, and art is always an expression of the human soul. Building Göbekli Tepe would have required planning on a scale unprecedented for hunter-gatherers. This was not the work of a few families. It demanded hundreds, perhaps thousands, of people working together, season after season. And that means coordination, leadership, and most importantly, shared belief. The gathering of so many would have been an event unto itself. Imagine the hills alive with the glow of campfires, the sound of drums echoing into the night, the smell of roasting meat carried on the wind. People trading goods, sharing stories, arranging marriages, settling disputes, all under the shadow of the rising stones. And yet, after centuries of use, around 8000 BC, something changed. The people who built Göbekli Tepe buried it. Deliberately, they filled in the enclosures with rubble, covering the pillars completely, sealing them away as though tucking a great secret into the earth. We do not know why. Was it a ritual act of closure, marking the end of an era? Was the site associated with a belief system that fell out of favor? Or had the community itself changed so completely that the old ways no longer mattered? When the last stone was covered, the knowledge of Göbekli Tepe vanished from human memory for nearly 10,000 years. Empires would rise and fall Sumer, Egypt, Rome, Byzantium, without ever knowing that. Far beneath the soil, the earliest monument of humankind lay waiting. Today, as archaeologists slowly uncover its secrets, we find ourselves looking backward through the lens of deep time. Göbekli Tepe reminds us that our ancestors were not primitive in the way we often imagine. They were thinkers, planners, artists, and engineers. They had stories, beliefs, and dreams. They looked up at the same stars we see today and wondered about their place in the universe. And perhaps, in these stones, they tried to answer that question. So the next time you hear someone speak of progress as a straight line from the primitive past to our modern world, remember Göbekli Tepe. Remember that once, long before the first cities rose from the earth, long before kings and empires, human hands carved visions into stone not for survival, but for meaning. If this journey into the deep past has stirred your imagination, I invite you to share your thoughts below. What do you think Göbekli Tepe was for? A temple? A gathering place? Something else entirely? Subscribe for more untold histories, because the past still has many secrets to give, and together we can bring them to light.